Hey besties, welcome back. Today I'll be showing you how to make your Greek yogurt using your freeze dried starter culture. Just that, you don't need to sieve out your whey because it's extra thick already. There's also no need to boil over the stovetop, so keep watching. In my previous video, I mentioned that I use DOUGHNUTS Cool Cow, and this is the instant filled milk powder. Okay, it's not a full cream milk powder. Now, if you want to use a full cream milk powder, you can go ahead and use that of any brand. Just make sure you're using a good brand. Okay, be sure that you're not using expired milk. I don't really advise you buying those milk that have been opened down because you can't really be sure that it's expired or not. But if you are sure of your vendors, you can buy the ones that they measure in buckets and co. This recipe works perfectly, okay, and the starter culture I'll be using also works perfectly, provided that you follow the instructions I'll be giving to you in this video to the letter. Okay, so this sachet is 350 grams, and 350 grams, if you measure in cups, it gives you 4 cups of milk. I already know that this sachet gives me 4 cups, and this is 350 grams, but I'm just measuring it so that we can all be sure that this is 350 grams or this is 4 cups of milk that we'll be using. So by now you want to make sure that your water is already boiling on fire over the stove top. Boil your water, make sure it's properly boiled. If you've watched this video up to this point, please kindly like this video to enable YouTube push it to a large audience. I'm actually boiling my water using an electric kettle, and you see I have a 1 liter electric kettle, and you see for this recipe you are not using 1 liter. Remember, we are making Greek yogurt and you do not need to sieve out the whey, so you do not need to use 1 liter. This cup is written, they wrote 250 ml on it, but if you measure it on a scale, the quantity, the liquid content in it will be 200 ml. So this is 800 ml that I'm using. If you want it extra thick, you can use 600 ml or 700 ml of water to 350 grams of milk powder, instant milk powder. So after pouring your hot water in, grab your hand whisk and just whisk it together. You're going to whisk until you lift up the hand whisk from the bowl and you do not find any lumps. Okay, by that time you should see like foams all over the top. It should be foamy on top, and at that point you know that you've mixed it thoroughly. You might mix for about 5 to 10 minutes. I would also like to mention that you need to sterilize everything you'll be using. Okay, so you need to use hot water after washing, and you're sure that everything you're using, from your whisk to your bowls, to your measuring cups, to your spoons, everything you're going to be using, you pour hot water on it just to sterilize it, because you don't want it getting contaminated. That can also affect your yogurt from setting. Okay, so after we've mixed, I let it cool down for just a bit, and once you dip your finger in, if you can bear the heat for about 8 seconds, then it's at the right temperature. If you noticed in my previous video, I mentioned that we do not need this temperature to be too cold. It's not lukewarm. We're not keeping it until it is warm. No, it still has to be hot but bearable when you dip your finger into. If it's not hot when you dip your finger into it, your yogurt will not ferment. It won't set. Okay, so after mixing it up, I just poured through a sieve, okay, to get out any lumps that you might have, in your milk. You can use a sieve that is extra fine, okay, just in case you want to get out completely all the lumps. So I'm using this Yogourmet starter culture. This is what it looks like, and at the back you can see it. You might be thinking that this is expired, but no, this is the year. 25 is the year, 03 is the month, and 23 is the date. Okay, so it's not expired. Just make sure you're getting a yogurt starter culture that is not expired. If you don't know where to get your yogurt starter culture, let me know in the comment section and I'll drop it for you in the comment section. Okay, it's very easy, you can find it anywhere. So what you want to do is just cut it open in a clean bowl. Remember, all your things are sterilized. Pour your yogurt starter culture into it. It's about 3 grams, so it's not so much. So this yogurt starter culture, some people claim it works for 5 liters, 4 liters and co, but my advice to you is to use it for 1 liter. So this yogurt starter culture makes 1 liter of yogurt. So if you're going to even go past that 1 liter, please don't go past maybe 1.5 liters of yogurt. So if you calculate the measurements I'm using right now, by the way, I just poured a little bit of our hot milk into the starter culture, and you want to mix it all up until everything is totally dissolved, there's no lumps whatsoever. And then you want to go ahead and pour it into your milk, your hot milk, and stir it up. Just give it a good whisk. Okay, so as I was saying, this yogurt starter culture, the 3 grams works for 1 liter of yogurt. So whatever measurement you are doing, don't exceed 1.5. okay, if you want to double this recipe, you can use 2 starter cultures for it, but I basically use my starter culture to prepare my yogurt starter. So if this gives me this quantity, from this quantity I take out the batch I need and I freeze it until I'm ready to make the next batch, which is most likely within a week or 2. Okay, so now I've put my duvet there, I put a nylon there, and I immediately poured in my milk into it, the airtight container. You want to go ahead and tie the nylon and quickly wrap it. The most important thing in yogurt making is your temperature. If your temperature is too low, your yogurt will not set. If your temperature is too high, your the temperature is going to kill the good bacteria. Okay, and this Yogourmet starter culture, one of the benefits of using it is the taste. The taste is not, there's none like it. Like, it tastes really, really nice. Okay, so your yogurt will come out tasting perfectly. Okay, and another thing is that it has so many, like uncountable, if I talk about millions, running into millions of billions of bacteria, good bacteria inside of it. Okay, so you want to make sure that if you're doing a yogurt business, this is the yogurt starter that you are using. Or there are other yogurt starters in the market also. You know, some can make up to 5 liters, 10 liters at once. Okay, so it just depends on the one that you want to use. So I've placed it immediately inside my cooler, and I'm just going to leave it here for 6 to 8 hours. If you want it a little bit sour, you can leave it for 8 hours. If you don't want it sour, 6 hours is fine. It's been 6 hours, and I'm just going to open. Let's open together and check if our yogurt is set. Okay, I wanted to mention this to you. If for any reason you use this particular starter culture, okay, because a lot of people have used this starter culture and they've complained that it didn't work, and that's the reason why I made this video. Now, if you use more than 1 liter, say you're using 2 liters, 3 liters, 4 liters, 5 liters, this starter culture might not work. Okay, and you might feel like it's a bad starter culture. No, it's not a bad starter culture. It's just that the starter culture is for a small amount of yogurt, between 1 liter to 1.5 liters of yogurt. Okay, so now our yogurt is set. You can see it. Okay, I'm just going to make it test by lifting it up. You can see it's fully set. When I bend it over, you won't find any way. Okay, so if you want it extra thick, you can reduce the quantity of water, because I used 800 ml of water. If you want it extra thick, you can reduce the quantity to 700 ml of water, or even 600 ml of water. No more stress of draining your whey, sieving your whey, putting in cheesecloth, putting in the fridge. Let all that be in the past, because what exactly is the whey? Your whey is just the water, the liquid, and some protein from your milk. Okay, so there's no point. If you reduce the quantity of your water, there's really no point going through the stress of sieving it, putting it. And this Greek yogurt is very good. It's not slimy in any way. So this starter culture is very good. If you are going into yogurt parfait business, or you are going into yogurt production business in a small scale, our advice that you use this starter culture. If you are going into it in a large scale, then you want to go for the starter culture that can be used for large quantity of yogurts. So all I did was to break up, or to mix it all up, and then I'm pouring it into this bowl. Always remember that you can take out, in fact you should always take out some of the unsweetened yogurt into another bowl, like I'm doing right now, and then cover it and put it in your freezer. Your live culture, your live bacteria would not die if you put it in your freezer. Okay, when you need it, allow it come back to room temperature and use it. And when I say put in your freezer, I mean in a freezer that works, not in a freezer where you didn't put on, or there's no light or what. So if you understand what I mean. Okay, so now that I've taken out the one that I'm going to use for my next batch of production, you can see I took out enough quantity, about a cup. okay, for my next production. I'll be using that starter culture to make about 4 liters of Greek yogurt. I've added 1/4 cup of sugar, and I'll just mix it all up together. You might notice that your yogurt is a bit watery. It is fine because you are mixing at this point. It's fine. What will happen is that you need to set your yogurt in the fridge. This consistency is perfect for people who are doing yogurt parfait. Okay, if you're selling Greek yogurt, this consistency is perfect. You can set your yogurt in the freezer or in the fridge and consume within 1 week because we are not using any preservative. If you enjoyed watching, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.